A very good morning once again from the sports desk. South African women's football continues to grow in leaps and bounds. Banyana Banyana are in their successive final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations after losing to Nigeria in the 2018 title decider. Head coach Desiree Ellis was named Women's Coach of the Year at last night's CAF Awards, making this her third prize. Meanwhile, Mamelodi Sundowns ladies were crowned the Women's Interclub of the Year in Morocco last night at the same awards ceremony. And this is following their triumph in the inaugural Women's CAF Champions League campaign last year. To chat more on this, we're joined by Safa Head of Women's Football and Fifa and Caf Technical Committee member, Anastasia Tsichlas. A very good morning to you, Mrs. Tsichlas, and thank you so much for joining us. Are we now at a point where we can call ourselves continental giants?
Good morning. Definitely. We've been a giants for quite some time. And at the moment, we are actually number one, and definitely we have developed, and we're going to do even better. As the years come, our children, our girls, they're very enthusiastic. They have the winning combination, the winning attitude, and definitely we're doing so well. We're also proud of them.
Mrs. Tsichlas, would you say that the appointment of Desiree Ellis at the time she was appointed as the head coach, given everything that South African women's football had gone through, even during her time as a player, was somewhat of a stroke of genius? Was that one of Safa's greatest decisions to have ever made at the time that they made them?
Definitely, because at that point in time, we were actually tired calling coaches from overseas to come and teach us how to play, although we had, in the end of the day, we have the players and we have the talent. So Desiree, she used to be also the captain of Banyana. We traveled together all over the world. She was a fantastic player. And she understood the game and also the way we play, the culture that we do have. Therefore, at that point in time, we did say to Desiree, come, take over. And under the current leadership, you can see that we believe in our local coaches, administrators, and so on. I think that it must be something to think for our future. South Africa can produce and has produced fantastic coaches in the past, and also, as you can see, even in the Hollywood beds, it's a lot of women coaches at the moment. It's their future.
Banyana Banyana have been are now in 6 finals, including this year, of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They have narrowly come to winning the competition 4 years ago, losing to Nigeria in the final by penalties. They beat Nigeria in the 2018 group stages and the 2022 group stages, which essentially says Nigeria is not as invincible as they used to be, especially when they play Banyana Banyana. Mamelodi Sundowns ladies have won the inaugural CAF Champions League. There is so much that is being done in terms of performances by women in football in this country, and yet South Africans continue to have the concern that they are not being supported enough by the association. Not enough money is being pumped into women's football to ensure that they do far bigger and better. There is no fully professional league in women's football in this country. What is Safa planning to do now that we are where we are today, where we've got the best women's coach on the continent, essentially the best national team on the continent with women's football, the best club on the continent in women's football? What's Safa's role going to be going forward to ensure that women's football goes global instead of continental?
Well, first of all, it's something maybe, nobody knows about. The last 4 years, Safa spent more than 300 million to watch women's football. It's an amount that very few countries, they can, even overseas in Europe, they can spend for the women's development. We do have the Hollywood bets. Of course, as we did it those years, as Sundowns did it those years, I remember I started that team with Anna Monati in 1996. And today they Africa champions. I always encourage other PSL clubs and special top clubs to, have a women's team as well, and to, develop a woman, and that will even, we will see the bigger picture. As Safa, we have, as I say, put our money where our mouth is, and you can see the development. And the Hollywood Bets is a semi-professional. You understand, as custodians of football, we cannot hold a full professional league. But this is something that we encourage. This is something that, is already there with the Hollywood Bets, and is a semi-professional, but it must become a full professional, I understand. And our women, they must get paid the same like our men.
All right, Mr. Tsichlas, thank you so much for joining us and just, sharing and allowing South Africans to understand exactly what the association is doing. That is where we leave it with you. That is the Safa head of women's football and Fifa and Caf technical committee member, Anastasia Tsichlas, on Banyana's success in African football and what it is she and the rest of the Football Association are planning to do to ensure that we are not talking about South African women's football not being supported the way they deserve to be. That is where we leave it from the sports desk for now. Mfundo?